The documentaries, fictional stories, and poems on this channel contain mature themes including psychological horror, violence, death, self-harm, mental health crises, and other disturbing subject matter. If you're sensitive to dark content, this may not be for you. Listener discretion is strongly advised. Welcome, holistic hunters. I am the Howlerist. Tonight, we discover what happens when the remedy becomes the poison. When the pursuit of purity leads to a place the mind can never escape. If you hunger for tales that hide in the shadow of good intentions, join the pack. Subscribe. Now, let me tell you about Element 47. The Silver Trap. Silver. Element 47. For thousands of years, we've known it kills bacteria. On a surface, on a bandage, in a wound, it works. It's been used in medicine for exactly that reason. But here's the thing about silver. Your body doesn't know what to do with it. It has no biological function, no role in your chemistry, no enzyme designed to break it down, no pathway to flush it out. Your body wasn't built for silver, and when you put something inside yourself that has no way out, that's when the trap closes. The ruling. In 1999, the FDA made a ruling, 21 CFR Part 310.548. It states clearly that all over-the-counter products containing colloidal silver for internal use are not recognized as safe or effective for any condition. Not approved. Not then, not now. The National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health backs this up. No scientific evidence, no proven benefits, just documented risks. But the ruling didn't stop anything. People are still making it, still selling it, still drinking it, because the trap doesn't announce itself. What are they actually making? Colloidal silver, that's what it's called, but that term covers a lot of ground. True colloidal silver is metallic particles suspended in liquid, but you can also end up with silver compounds like silver nitrate or silver chloride or ionic silver. These are chemically different, and they behave differently in your body. Some absorb faster, some are more corrosive. Commercial products vary wildly. No standard formulation, no regulation on concentration or particle size. But commercial is one thing. Homebrew is another level entirely. People make this in their kitchens using electrolysis. You run electrical current through silver wire in water, and particles break off into the liquid. Sounds simple, but what you get depends on the water purity, the voltage, how long you run it, the type of silver you use. Without lab testing, you have no idea what you've made. No idea what concentration, no idea if it's silver particles or silver salts. You're dosing yourself with an unknown chemical composition every single day. No exit door. Here's what bioaccumulation means. A substance enters your body faster than it can leave. It builds up, layer by layer, dose by dose. The Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry has documented this for silver in their comprehensive toxicological profile. Silver gets absorbed through your digestive system, enters your bloodstream, and then distributes throughout your body. your skin, your liver, your kidneys, your spleen, your brain. The human body has no metabolic pathway for silver. It can't break it down. Some small amounts might leave through urine or feces, but chronic ingestion, daily doses over months, over years, means accumulation. A 2014 study published in Nanotoxicology by Munger and colleagues examined people who consumed commercial colloidal silver and found detectable silver in their blood, with metabolic markers showing systemic exposure. Silver can stay in your tissue for years, decades. It doesn't leave. The blue. The most visible sign is argyria. Your skin turns blue-gray permanently. Here's the mechanism. Silver particles deposit in your skin, in the dermis beneath the surface. When UV light hits them, they react through a photochemical process, the same one that develops old film. Your skin becomes a photograph. It starts in sun-exposed areas, your face, your hands, your neck. But in severe cases, it spreads to your whole body, the whites of your eyes, even your internal organs. And it's permanent. There's no treatment that removes silver from tissue once it's deposited. But the blue skin isn't the disease. It's just the part you can see. It's evidence of what's happening inside. What's happening to the organs? Your liver and kidneys are trying to filter silver out of your blood. That's their job. But they weren't designed for it. The ATSDR profile documents what happens. Silver deposits in the tissue and the basement membranes of cells, causing cellular stress and reduced filtering capacity. The organs are working harder and harder while accumulating the very thing they're trying to remove. It's a losing battle. As their function declines, the concentration of silver in your bloodstream rises, which puts more strain on the organs, which makes them less effective. A feedback loop. Breach. Silver doesn't stay in your organs and skin. It crosses into your brain. A 2010 study published in Toxicological Sciences by Trickler and colleagues demonstrated that silver nanoparticles breach the blood-brain barrier, the security system, the protective wall that's supposed to keep toxins out of your central nervous system. Silver gets through by causing inflammation in the cells that form that barrier, increasing permeability. And once it's inside, it accumulates. Lansdowne's 2006 review in Current Problems in Dermatology traces the distribution. Silver deposits in neural tissue, the hippocampus, which handles memory formation, the cerebellum, which controls motor function, other structures throughout the brain. Silver particles in brain tissue cause oxidative stress, interfering with the electrical signals between neurons. The communication system starts breaking down. The symptoms. Medical literature documents what heavy metal accumulation in the brain can do. Cognitive impairment, memory deficits, motor coordination problems, altered mental status. There's a term for brain dysfunction caused by silver encephalopathy. And in some cases, there's something else, anosognosia. That's when the damage is so severe that your brain can't perceive its own decline. You think you're functioning normally. You believe you're responding, participating, engaging. But the connection between thought and action has been severed. You answer in your head. The words don't leave your mouth. and you don't realize it. The reality. So what does the science actually show? Silver is a non-essential heavy metal with no biological function in the human body. It bioaccumulates because it doesn't leave. Chronic exposure causes permanent skin discoloration, organ accumulation, and neurological deposition. It can cross into your central nervous system and interfere with brain function. And there is no approved medical use that requires you to ingest silver. None. The FDA ruling stands. The research is published. The mechanisms are documented. But people are still brewing it in their kitchens, still drinking it daily, still believing it's healing them. The trap doesn't feel like a trap, not at first. It feels like hope in a jar. By the time you realize what's happened, the silver is already in your brain. The damage is already done, and there's no way to undo it. Element 47, a noble metal. In the right place, it protects. In the wrong place, it remains. Element 47. I'd say 11 years or so, the first time that we'd met. A work colleague my wife and I admired. He was so intelligent and a leader in his field, and sharing skills had those around him so inspired. He had some fresh ideas on how the world should work, and every fact enticed his questioning. A cleaner way of living, a garden of his own, and homemade remedies for everything. We must have been in COVID the last time that we spoke, and years had passed before again we'd meet. I shouted out hello, though he did not respond. And I suspected he ignoring me. Not one to feel unconfident, for I'd done nothing wrong, so I approached to have a friendly word. Getting deaf in your old age? I asked him with a laugh. I answered, mate, guess you never heard. Just some social rhetoric, a little catching up. But his interactions bordered on disjoint. I tried my best at small talk, but he would not engage. The conversation short and to the point. After several minutes of awkwardness had passed, I bid farewell to finish off my task. I mentioned to the other staff the strangeness he displayed. They spoke of failings that he tried to mask, suggesting that he probably had answered in his head, but the words remaining tangled in his thought. Not safe for him continuing that work he did before. Lost skills he'd spent a lifetime to be taught. Gossip taking over on the failings of this man. Yet to offer help, not one had tried. Just remove the problem, locate him somewhere else, and criticize his affliction from the side. Feeling somewhat anxious, I mentioned to my wife this sad, disturbing witness to decline. And straight away, she mentioned, I need to check on this. But a troubling recollection comes to mind. He'd given her a sample, a brew he'd made himself years before we'd fallen out of touch. Pure colloidal silver, it fixes everything. Though her fear of heavy metal was too much. Shocked at her discovery, she slowly read the words. Years of use before the signs of something wrong. Severe cognitive breakdown and chronic disconnect. Symptoms of exposure, vast and long. She asked me if I'd noticed strange discolor of his skin, but that was something that I never saw. She tells me that it never leaves, the tinge of bluish gray, a permanent and unforgiving flaw. The particles breach barriers designed to guard the brain, deep in neural tissue, they pollute the hippocampus, memory. The signals start to fail, while cognitive decline becomes acute. There is no cure or reversal once the damage has been done. The metal stays embedded in the cells. Bioaccumulation, with no pathway to escape. A trap that only time and dosage tells. We sit in silence processing the weight of what we've learned, but certainty is something we don't hold. We haven't seen him close enough to know if this is true. We're far too distant now to speak so bold. He lives alone, no family to notice or to care. A shadow of the man he once had been. The one who questioned everything, now lost within himself, while colleagues talk but never intervene. I think about him standing there, convinced that he replied. The gap between his thought and what is real. A man who built his life on asking questions, seeking truth, now trapped by what a silver jar could steal.